Okay, we're moving on to a new unit. Inequalities is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to start out simple, starting out with 6th and 7th grade level of stuff here. In your learning target, you can graph and identify solutions to inequalities. When you think of inequalities, you need to think of the root word n equal, okay, or equal. It means that it doesn't equal one thing. There's going to be tons of right answers. That's what this means. There's going to be tons of right answers. So you have the following way to represent it. Oh, they should have lines under it. Make sure you put lines under it. This is greater than. When the open mouth is facing you, it's greater than. Oh, that's my bad. Hold on. It should be, this is greater than or equal to. That means it can equal the number. This means, like, if I said x is bigger than 5, it's all the numbers that are bigger than 5. This means, x is bigger than or equal to 5, means it can be 5 too. This is less than, and then you should have a line under, less than or equal. All right, so that's the first thing. Sometimes, a lot of times students are like, which one's bigger than, which one's less than? Now you have a resource to be able to check that out yourself, okay? Properties of inequalities. If it's colored in, anybody remember if it was colored in, what that means? Yes, it can equal. Okay, if it's colored in, that means it could equal the number. Okay, greater than goes to the right. Because everything's related to a number line. And if you look at a number line, where are you getting bigger? You get bigger going this direction. Okay, going to the right. Where do you get smaller? You get smaller going to the left. So less than goes to the left. Okay, so we have colored in. Colored in means that it can equal it. If it's greater than, you're going to the right. If it's less than, you're going to the left. Those are properties you need to know. And then you need to know if the open mouth is facing you, it means it's bigger than. If the point is facing you first, it means less. Moving on. Graphing inequalities. First thing you do when you graph, you make a circle on the number line. And yes, you're going to have to make number lines today. It's not going to be a lot of work though. You just draw a little line and draw 3 numbers. So you're going to make a circle on the number line. Determine if you are going to need to color the circle in. And then you're going to determine direction. So you're going to determine if you need to color it in. If it has the line under it, it means color it in. And then determine direction. For example, x is greater than 7. It's hard to see these numbers here. I'm going to make mine really big. Oh, it's locked. Okay. So I don't even have 7 on here. I only went to 5. So 6, 7, I'm going to expand it a little bit. So if I'm bigger than 7, I'm going to make a circle at 7. I'm not going to color it in because there's not a line under it. And if I'm bigger, I'm going to the right. So I made a circle at 7. I didn't color it in because there wasn't a line. And if I'm getting bigger, I go to the right. X is less than or equal to -4. Where am I going to put my circle? Class, where do I put my circle? -4. That's right here. Do I color it in?
Yes.
I color it in. Left or right? I go to the left because I'm less than. So I know that I color it in because this line tells me to color in. The line under, because it says x is less than or equal. Remember when you think something's equal, you colored it on a test document, color the right answer in. And last you get, when you're less, you go to the left on a number line. X is less than or equal to 3. Okay, where do I put the circle? 3. Do I color the circle in?
Yeah.
And left or right? Left. Less. Left. Left. Less. Okay. X is bigger than negative 3. Bigger than negative 3. So where do I put my circle? I put my circle at negative 3. Do I color it in? No, because there's not a line. And bigger goes what direction? Bigger goes to the right. One of the biggest points of confusion for a lot of students is when the variable's on the right-hand side. Kids think they get it, but a lot of times it's the biggest mistake on standardized testing that we notice. If the variable's on the right-hand side, I want you to move it. I used to give students choice, but not anymore. There's too many mistakes that happen. So move it to left. That's what you need to do. Everybody's going to have to move it to the left-hand side. Let me show you how. This is saying 3 is less than x. X is on the right, so I want it on the left, so I write x first. And then I just ask myself, what's facing it, the open mouth or the point? Open mouth is facing it, keep the open mouth facing it. 3x is greater than or equal to 3. That's me moving it to the left-hand side. That way I'm going to get a more accurate graph, or the right graph. So I make my circle at 3. I color it in because there's a line under it, and bigger means I go to the right. Negative 2 is bigger than x. Again, my x is on the right, so I'm going to put my x on the left. So I write x. Now what's facing the x, the open mouth or the point? I need more students to pay attention here. What's facing the x here, the open mouth or the point? The point. So put the point facing it on the left-hand side, and then negative 2. So I make a circle at negative 2. I do not color it in because there's not a line. And left means I go to, or less means I go to the left. Okay? 4 plus 4 is bigger than x. Well, let me just rewrite that. 8 is bigger than x. Now my x is on the left, right. I want it on the left. So I put my x first. The point is facing the x. I'm going to keep my point facing the x. X is less than 8. I don't have that here. I'll expand that. So I make a circle at the 8. I don't color it in, and I'm going to the left. Negative 3 plus 5 is less than or equal to x. That would be a positive 2 is less than or equal to x. Rewrite it with x on the left. X is bigger than or equal to 2. I know it's bigger than because the open mouth is facing the x. I want to keep the open mouth facing the x. Color it in at 2. Go to the right. All right, now you're going to graph fraction inequalities. So if I get x is less than a negative 2/3, the first thing I'm going to do is make a number line. And I know that I'm in between 1 and negative 1, so I'm just going to make that my scale. I'm less than a negative 2/3. I'm almost to 1. That's like negative 0.6, right? So I'm almost to 1. So I would just make a dot right about there. Okay? It doesn't have to be exact, but I do have to know that you know you're close to -1. So then I'm less than, oh, I shouldn't color it in, right? I make a circle there. I'm less than, so I'm going that way. X is bigger than 3/4. Again, I'm somewhere in between 0 and 1, so I'm just going to scale it by 1s. Notice that I make them equidistant. That means equally apart from 0. 3/4. Am I closer to 0 or closer to 1? 1. I'm pretty close to 1, right? So I'm at 0.75. So I just make a colored in circle somewhere around where 0.75 would be. Bigger than goes to the right. Oh no. Now I have a fraction and the variable on the right hand side. That's fine. With the variable on the left, have to. X, open mouth, 1/4. 0, 1, -1. 1/4, 0.25, just a little bigger than 0. Oops, it should be an open circle. Open circle at about 0.25. I'm bigger, so I'm going to the right. Oh no, -2 and 3/4 is bigger than x. Okay, I can do that. Variables on the right, first thing I need to do is get it on the left. X is less than -2 and 3/4. Okay, so it looks like I need to go from 3 to -3. I know that because it's bigger than 2. Okay, the absolute value of 2. So this is -2.75, right? So that's really close to -3. So I would make an open circle right around -3, less, so I'm going to the left. All right? So again, I just make an estimate. Where is it? Which number is it closer to? And graph it from there. Next concept, writing inequalities from graph. You want to first identify where the circle is going to be. What number is it being related to? And then determine if you color in or not, and then you write it. Okay, so I want everybody to make a circle on the 4. And I want you to make the arrow going to the left. Writing this inequality from the graph, you always write the x first. You say x, it looks like x is getting less. X is less than 4. That's what you'd write. X is less than 4. Because I'm going to the left, and the number my circle is on is 4, and it's not colored in. Okay, I want you to color in where I am here and go this direction. Right here. And everybody do that next one. So I always write x first. The number I'm at is -2. I'm getting bigger, so I say x is bigger than or equal, because it's colored in, -2. Uh-oh, I'm almost out. The last concept is identifying solutions. You want to plug the number in and then determine if it is true. For instance, 2y plus 1, is that bigger than 6 for all these values? I'm going to plug a 1 in there. 2 times 1 plus 1, is that bigger than 6? Is 2 plus 1 bigger than 6? Is 3 bigger than 6? No, it is not a solution. So all you do for all of them